What an electrifying start of the evening, huh? Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Alam al-Iqtisad wal-A'mal Awards by the leading Arabic business magazine published by the United Media Services. Before we start the proceedings, we welcome and thank our chief guest, His Excellency, Sheikh Khalid bin Omar al-Marhoun, Minister of Civil Service. Our guest of honor, His Excellency, Engineer Ahmed bin Hassan al-Dib, Undersecretary of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, for gracing the event today. I also extend a very warm welcome to His Excellency, Sheikh Salim bin Mustahil al-Ma'shani. This evening, we have lined up 15 Best Performing Companies Awards and 23 awards for companies and industry captains for achievements that goes beyond the balance sheets. We have also invited 2 guest speakers who will be talking on how to be at the forefront of corporate world by achieving the best performance. Today's evening is covered live on various social media platforms as displayed on screen. Before we move forward, let's have a quick look at the glimpses from 9 years of the success journey of Alam al-Iqtisad wal-A'mal Awards. What an incredible journey it has been for Alam al-Iqtisad wal-A'mal Awards. I now invite Mr. Khalfan al-Rahbi, Editor-in-Chief of Alam al-Iqtisad wal-A'mal, to deliver the welcome address.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. معالي الشيخ خالد بن عمر المرهون وزير الخدمة المدنية، الموقر راعي الحفل معالي الشيخ سالم بن مستهيل بن أحمد المعشني، سعادة المهندس أحمد بن حسن الذيب وكيل وزارة التجارة والصناعة، ضيف الشرف وضيوفنا الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. نرحب بكم جميعا في هذه الأمسية السنوية والتي تنظمها مجلة عالم الاقتصاد والأعمال الصادرة عن الشركة المتحدة لخدمة وسائل الإعلام، إحدى شركات مجموعة مسقط وفرسيز لتكريم الشركات والمؤسسات العمانية المتميزة. شاكرين لكم جميعا تلبية الدعوة بالحضور. حفلنا الكريم نحتفل اليوم وكما هي العادة بتكريم الشركات الفائزة الواردة ضمن قائمة مجلة عالم الاقتصاد والأعمال السنوية لأفضل شركات المساهمة العامة أداءً عن العام المالي 2018 وفق المعايير المالية التي اعتمدتها الجائزة بالتعاون مع إحدى المؤسسات المستقلة وبيوت الخبرة في تحليل البيانات المالية. ويمكن العودة طبعاً إلى التفاصيل المسح في العدد الجديد من المجلة والذي سيتم توزيعه عليكم لاحقاً. حضورنا الكريم، السلطنة وضمن أهدافها للعام الجاري أعلنت مواصلة سياسات دعم التنويع الاقتصادي من خلال توسيع مشاركة القطاع الخاص وإحالة عدد من الخدمات الحكومية ليتم تنفيذها وإدارتها من قبل هذا القطاع عبر نماذج الإدارة أو الشراكة، وتوفير الدعم اللازم للمؤسسات الصغيرة والمتوسطة، والعمل على إسناد حصة من المشاريع والأعمال الحكومية إليها، حيث يعول على القطاع الخاص بشكل أساسي في توفير التمويل والاستثمارات المطلوبة للمشاريع المستهدفة. وحتى يتحقق ذلك يتحتم ضرورة أن يتم العمل على تسهيل الإجراءات وتحسين بيئة الأعمال، ولعل صدور عدد من القوانين الجديدة كقانون استثمار رأس المال الأجنبي وقانون الشراكة بين القطاعين العام والخاص وقانون التخصيص وإجراء التحسينات على قانون الشركات ينسجم هذا الإطار، ويؤمل أن يفتح قانون الاستثمار الجديد آفاقاً جديدة للاستثمار في السلطنة، كما يؤمل من حزمة التشريعات الجديدة تعزيز الاستثمارات المشتركة بين القطاعين العام والخاص. ويدرك الجميع حجم التحديات التي لا تزال تواجه الاقتصاد في ظل تقلبات أسعار النفط، والتوقعات بأن تشهد اقتصاديات دول مجلس التعاون الخليجي مخاطر انخفاض النمو نتيجة حالة الغموض وعدم اليقين التي تحيط بمستقبل أسعاره، إلا أن حالة التفاؤل تسود الواقع الاقتصادي في ظل الجهود التي تبذل والتي ساهمت إلى حد كبير في حالة استقرار الاقتصاد الذي أظهر بحسب الإحصائيات المعلنة القدرة على الحفاظ على معدلات نمو موجبة وسط إشادة بتفاعل القطاع الخاص والمجتمع مع ذلك. واليوم يقع على القطاع الخاص مسؤولية كبيرة في تعزيز قدراته للمساهمة في دعم النمو الاقتصادي وتوفير فرص العمل، ونعتقد أن القطاع الخاص لا يزال قادراً على الاطلاع بدور أكبر لقيادة المرحلة والبحث عن الفرص بالتزامن مع الإصلاحات الاقتصادية التي تقودها الحكومة. ضيوفنا الكرام، ندرك في مجلة عالم الاقتصاد والأعمال الدور الملقى على عاتقنا للمساهمة في تحفيز الاقتصاد وتعزيز قدراته التنافسية، ونعتقد أن هذه الجائزة والتي نحتفل اليوم بنسختها التاسعة ساهمت إلى حد كبير في تسليط الضوء على قطاع شركات القطاع الخاص والأهمية التي يشكلها في دعم المنظومة الاقتصادية. سيتم على هامش هذه الأمسية تكريم الشركات الفائزة في المسح السنوي لأفضل شركات المساهمة العامة المدرجة في سوق الأوراق المالية، علاوة على تكريم عدد من الشركات والشخصيات الرائدة في عدد من المجالات نظير مبادراتها والجهود التي تبذلها. وفي الختام نهني الشركات والشخصيات الفائزة والمكرمة في هذه الأمسية، ونشكر جميع من ساهم في إنجاح هذه المبادرة والتي بلا شك ستسهم في الارتقاء بأداء قطاع شركات القطاع الخاص لتعزيز دورها في التنمية الاقتصادية المستدامة. كما لا يسعنا هنا إلا أن نتقدم بالشكر الجزيل إلى معالي الشيخ راعي المناسبة وسعادة المهندس ضيف الشرف على تشريفنا هذه الأمسية، والشكر موصول بطبيعة الحال إليكم جميعا حضورنا الكريم، متمنين لكم أمسية ممتعة بحول الله، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
Thank you so much, Mr. Khalfan. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a world that is changing constantly, and who knows it better than you, who face challenges on a daily basis in your respective lines of business. Amongst us today, we have a business leader who has built a reputation for creating business opportunities from extreme challenges. He is the chairman and founder of Renaissance Services, Oman's premier services company, and of Topaz Energy and Marine, a top 3 global offshore support vessel provider. He is also chairman of the Taus Group, a leading Omani conglomerate which serves as a family office focused on broad-based investments portfolio across all asset classes and geographies in both the public and private sectors. He was recently in news for achieving a very high-value corporate deal of more than $1 billion for a group company. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome on stage our keynote speaker, Mr. Samir J. Fancy, the chairman and founder of Renaissance Services.
Good evening, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. So, tonight I've been asked to talk about Renaissance's transaction in the sale of its subsidiary Topaz, which we sold to DP World for $1.3 billion. I was asked to share my insights, experiences, and the challenges that came along with this, and there were many of those. So what I'm going to try and do is create first some understanding for everyone to understand the structure very quickly, and then deliver to you the story as it happened. And if I digress a little bit, remember there's a lot of passion involved. Topaz, we acquired this company in Renaissance in 2005. At that time, it had asset base. There were three particular businesses. One was an afloat ship repair business, another was an oil and gas fabrication yard, and then there were 12 rust buckets that masqueraded as ships. But we were very proud of them because that was our business. Ultimately, over time, we converted the business, sold everything else, and converted it into an OSV company, offshore support vessels. And by the time we get to 2014, we have probably the 8th largest company in the global space. So it's an Omani company that owns a global leader with the youngest fleet at that time, which became very relevant to the oil and gas majors. Now, the interesting part about what we do and how we delivered it was we intended at that time to take the company public. And we were going to take it public in the London market, and it was going to be a premium listing. And we then went and bought on board Standard Chartered Private Equity to join us, put in money into the company, but not so much for their money at that time, but more because it was the right kind of structure to go to a public market which was more sophisticated than we had experienced before. So once we made that move, lo and behold, the oil prices fell off a cliff. Saudi Arabia decided to actually use a strategy of a supply side story and go and capture market share. Around this time, The Economist wrote a brilliant article called Shale versus Sheikhs. And if anyone can read it, it's still relevant today. Because really what it told you was what was happening in both dynamics and what could be the outcome. So immediately at that point, we felt that this is not a normal economic cycle. And while everyone seemed to be in denial, because normally these oil cycles correct themselves in a year, we didn't feel that this would be the outcome this time. So early in 15, we went and refinanced all our debt. We went to the banks, it's more fees for them, and we pushed out all our maturities to 2022. We ballooned the large payments at the end and made our loan amortization very small for the coming years. The next step that we took later in the year, all this is in 2015, is that we went and decided to go and raise a high-yield bond. Now, everyone thought we were crazy to do this because we were raising the money in London and New York. And I think we raised about $350 million, and we paid 8.6%. But the difference over here was that these bonds were non-securitized, not like when you go to banks, and it stays in the business. You only pay the coupon. So the big difference that it made for us was that our bilateral loans were secured against our ships, which was a big asset block of maybe 1.2 billion. Because now we had become worried that with this crisis continuing, asset values will fall, and banks will come against you if you don't meet your LTV. For bankers here, they'll understand all of that. Anyway, then came the third leg of what we decided to do. We went to all our customers, especially our big customers like BP, Shell, and some others, and we offered them discounts in contract. And this is still in the first year of the crisis. And immediately, what came about was we gave away 10%. But 18 months later, we wouldn't have got away with even 25%. So we did these 3 steps, and this is some of the prime reasons why the company survived. Now at this time, remember, at the start of the crisis, maybe we were number 8 or number 9 in the world in terms of a fleet. Suddenly people started dying, going out of business. The number 1 business in the world, Tidewater, Chapter 11, shareholders lose 95%. The number 2 or number 3 company, Gulfmark, 99% lost. And all the other companies started merging and all sorts of things that they were forced to do. And basically, at the end of it all, you also have a management team Now the management team are looking to be progressive, so they come and push you. And they push you and say that, hey, Samir, listen, this same ship was 50%, it's 50% of the value we could have got it last year. Why don't we buy it? And these are things that we must always remember in a crisis, avoid the value traps. Those are the most dangerous things, because what if we had bought that ship, we still wouldn't have been able to put it out on rent or on charter, because there were 2 more years to come, which we didn't know, but we took a more careful and prudent approach. And so when you come to around 2018, there were only 2 companies that were left standing from the original top 10 in the world. Your company, and I say yours because it's Omani, we own it, which is Topaz, and another company called Secor. Anyone else that survived without a change of shareholders were people where daddy or the parent had more than $10 billion in his bank account. So people like Maersk, A.P. Muller, they survived because of a big balance sheet. Swire, maybe the same thing. So this is the backdrop with which we arrive in 2018. Now, in the meantime, we kept growing this company. But how did we grow it? We went to the big oil companies, we went to Chevron, we told them that we could support them if they actually paid for the ships we needed to service their contracts. And actually, we convinced them. So suddenly you come into 2018 and you're realizing that you've also taken a big beating along the way. You've had your assets impaired, few $100 million gone, group under pressure, but those contracts then started to flow. So now if you see Topaz in 2019, it's making a lot of money, but it's not making cash because we're using all the money we make to pay back Chevron. So what we thought, and that's just one example of how we grew the company in times when we didn't have, when we had a paucity of cash. So now, when we're looking at all of this, and we're seeing, what do we do? So we said we must have a capital event. So we went back to the London market, mid-2018. But unfortunately, towards the end of 2018, all the markets started coming off. The IPO market closed, and we again were stuck because these size of companies, really, it's very difficult to raise money in our local market to deal with this. So you need deep, deep markets, London, New York, and not many others, maybe in Scandinavia. In any case, then we were looking at this issue and what to do next. Because remember, if you're a survivor, you should inherit the earth. And you can take that chance. You certainly can take the chance. But what if another crisis came? And that's what we were looking at. So when you look at transactions, and if there's anything I want to share with you, the 2 questions that come to my mind: how and why? So I've been talking to you about the how so far. Then I want to move a little to the why, because when you look at the why, you're sitting down and thinking that, oof, I could really, really be something huge on a global scale if I hang in there. On the other hand, you're seeing that you're having to hope that there's no crisis coming. And then you see, what are the things that you can control? And so I looked around me. I see Mr. Trump being very aggressive towards Iran in our region. I see Mr. Trump having a big shootout with Mr. Xi in China. I see other actors like Vladimir Putin. I see Saudi Arabia playing their own role. And we asked ourselves, so what can we do about any of this? And the answer was a big fat zero, We can't. We have to hope nothing goes wrong. And ladies and gentlemen, hope is a very poor strategy. So I pause over there now, and I come back to Oman. And I come back to talk about, remember I started with Renaissance. Renaissance is the owner of Topaz. What's happening in Oman? So Renaissance is an integrated facilities manager. We service every organ of the government, the private sector, and something I call life support services, which is going out there and building things for oil companies, defense organizations, and in fact cities, where we house as enablers the workforces, and we execute service to them. So we own the asset, and we service the asset and the people. And then beyond that, we service the entire community by providing contract services. So we control the majority of the hospital services, a lot of the defense forces, education, you name it, police, you just can keep going on. There isn't anyone with a worthwhile contract that Renaissance hasn't worked with. So that's one thing we do. The other thing we do is you go to Al-Moj, you see them as Al-Moj people, but they're Renaissance, because that's integrated facilities management. You go to Kazan, you see BP people, that's Renaissance. Then Renaissance did something else that was very big, and this is going to hook back into Topaz and the decision on the why. Renaissance went and backed Duqm when His Majesty announced the plans for Duqm, the smart city on the eastern seaboard, and the vision to have a logistics hub, oil and gas infrastructure. We backed Duqm as an enabler. We spent $200 million to build a facility to house a massive workforce. We were helped by some amazing institutions. One of them is sitting here today, Bank Muscat, who actually provided us all the know-how and the ability to get into the market, by NBO, by a number of other banks. And we actually went and did this, and only after we had got it off the ground that we could have proof of concept, we went and gotten partners. And we decided we wanted a sovereign wealth, a financial institution, a pension fund, and local community. So the Diwan of Royal Court then invested in it, and Bank Muscat, Ministry of Defense Pension Fund, and I think the Kunji family came with us. So this was a powerful event, but the oil crisis also hit here. And guess what? We were all dressed up for a party, but no one showed up because the refinery was delayed. Nobody's fault, it's a circumstance. So now imagine we've had two circumstances. One, Topaz, direct facing to the oil and gas industry, and the other laterally facing the oil and gas industry. So it's a really hugely tough time. So now we come back to making this decision. Somebody shows up who wants to buy the business. They're not going to give us the best price, but they're going to pay, they'll cut a check for $1.3 billion, which is like gold today. For someone to actually just come and take you out and take the risk of what may come in the future. Deeper pockets. That was DP World. So sometimes transactions may not give you the perfect result at one point, but they lead the path because we deleveraged the company and we've gone to another level of what we'll be able to deliver going forward. And that is sort of the story that encompasses what we're doing and why we did it. So the how and the why. You know, the insights I would like to share with you all is you need to believe, you need to have luck, you need to have a host of, some foresight, realism. You need to have courage. But mostly, you believe, and you believe, because success belongs to he who believes the most and for the longest. So the call that we then finally went out and made was that we are going to deliver this deal of Topaz, deleverage the balance sheet, come home to the market we know, because another major event occurred. A private-public partnership law was passed. And we know that there is no one else in town who has the same infrastructure, capability, and inroads into each element, so in aviation, in education, in military, in students, to house them, provide them infrastructure, service them. Anyone can build a building, but the real development risk is to deliver a project. That's what we do. That's why we did this. And at the end of the day, I think people will be able to see it in the results that come, because Dukum in the last 6 months is almost filled up. They're looking at expansion, and many other projects are now coming to us to actually deliver on. So that's really our story around Topaz, around Renaissance, and I really thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to share our story with you. I thank United Media, and I thank His Excellency Sheikh Salem. Thank you very much. Good night, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samir Fancy, for such an inspiring talk. Ladies and gentlemen, a successful business person is always in pursuit of new investment opportunities to increase his or her wealth. And most likely, high-growth investment opportunities come from emerging markets or industry segments that are growing at a faster pace. This evening, we have invited Mr. Rainer Michael Price, an investment expert from Singapore, who would throw light on the relevant geopolitical trends, high-growth market opportunities, and why it's prudent for you to invest in them. He currently serves as portfolio strategist at Torres Family Office, based in Singapore with an asset portfolio of 2.1 billion US dollars. Previously, he was the chief equity strategist at Standard Chartered Bank and a member of the bank's global investment. He has over 25 years of experience in global financial markets, having worked in London, Paris, Hong Kong, Middle East, Africa, and Singapore in various investment and research functions. He is a graduate of the European Business School with a major in finance and international economics. He is also the co-founder of the Blockchain and Crypto Association of Singapore. He is also a frequent contributor to CNBC, Bloomberg, and Forbes. The stage is all yours, Mr. Rainer.
Shukran jazilan. Assalamu alaikum. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the opportunity to share a couple of thoughts with you. I thought I structured the discussion and the talk about two things: macroeconomics and investment opportunities in the world as we see it currently. Look, I mean, this is to some extent the most important relationship in the world now when it comes to portfolios, money, and things. And it's also, again, a new world order, because as you know, historically, the United States president never talked about monetary policy, and there was always clear distinction between duties. And here, as you can see, the question is, can US rates go to zero? And why is that important for everyone, whether we sit in Oman, in Tokyo, in China, or in the United States? Because the bigger question in the world for all investors is, are we becoming more like Japan? Europe is already in negative interest rates, Japan is in negative interest rates. Can the United States go into negative interest rates? That really is the trillion-dollar question for every investor, because that has a knock-on effect on private equity, on, of course, fixed income markets, but more importantly also on US equities. And look, on the back of the United States dollar, it says, in God we trust. However, in the global financial market, it's increasingly in gold and silver we trust. And as you can see here, this is a Bloomberg chart. Gold is now, among the major currencies, the best performing currency against the United States dollar. Why is that important? Because over the last 7 years, gold was in a bear market against the US dollar, even though gold was rising rapidly against currencies like the Turkish lira, the Venezuelan bolivar, and many other emerging market currencies. But as you know, gold was very weak against the United States dollar. So year to date, as you can see here, Bloomberg screen as of a few days ago, gold is actually, and all the best performing currencies in the world are basically precious metals. Why is that? Because does it mean that we're going into the race to the bottom in terms of global interest rates, right? That really is the trillion-dollar question. And this chart maybe says it best. This, to me, is the most important chart in the world. This is the S&P 500 since 1927. It says, make the stock market great again. Why is this chart important for all investors in the world? Because, as you can see here, the stock market was basically flat until the 1970s. And then these were the Clinton years, when Bill Clinton was in the White House. Then you have the 2000 tech bubble collapse. Many of us still remember that, when you had a major correction. Don't forget, here, interest rates were 6.5% in US dollars. After 3 years, they were at 1%. And then the 1% interest rate in 2003 coincided with that huge liquidity injection into the world. And that's also what, if you might recall, that brought a subprime crisis. As you know here, we had interest rates at 1%. Here they went to 5.25%, and they had subprime here. But because interest rates were so low in the US for 3, 4, 5 years, it created that property bubble, subprime crisis. And more importantly, it was also the golden years for emerging markets. If you remember, Brazil doubled. Turkey went up close to 600, 700% in the Turkish Istanbul Stock Exchange. But more importantly here, since the low of 2008, 9 here, March 2009, this is the biggest expansion in US history. Well, the stock market is already great, but more importantly, since many of you are business owners and executives and so forth, what is important to remember is that here, currently, the wealth gap in the United States is the biggest since 1929. And if you might recall, 1929 was the beginning of the Depression. Remember the stock market crash of 1929? And why is that important? Because you see, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican in the United States, that wealth gap is very much the issue. For instance, Harvard University did a study that showed that the average CEO in the United States now makes 300 times as much as the average worker. And according to Harvard University, the average for the last 100 years was roughly 20 to 25 times. So this is exactly the wealth gap, what also to some extent got Mr. Trump elected. And many people call it sort of now getting tough on China, right? Because is it all okay that, look, the stock market is an all-time record high, but the average American feels poorer. And we don't have that not just in the United States, we also have it in Britain with Brexit, right? The average people increasingly felt, look, the stock market is an all-time record high, but we don't necessarily feel better off. That again also later on leads us to this United States-China trade war issue and all of that. But this is really the issue here. Stock market all-time record high, but many people don't necessarily feel the so-called wealth effect, as Alan Greenspan called it, if you might recall. Why is that? Because you see, Mr. Samir Fancy, he spoke about potentially could we see another crisis, right? What is important to remember, if you just look at this chart again, oh, sorry, yeah, here. This expansion of the lows was cheap money. US interest rates potentially being too low. And look, many economists always ask, is there an inflation problem? Well, not in consumer price inflation, but some people argue we have we have an issue in so-called asset price inflation. And if you remember, why did we have so much stock market gains? Because a lot of American companies basically issued bonds, so share buybacks. As you can see here, corporate debt in the United States is at all-time record highs. So corporate debt at all-time record highs, stock market all-time record highs, and more importantly, that wealth gap, the biggest since 1929. Usually Wall Street and bankers often don't care too much about the poor people. But again, as 1929 showed us, when it gets too extreme, it becomes a problem for the whole world, and also for the bankers. And this is really also the debate in Washington currently with potentially the 2020 election. Would there be a possibility that the Democratic Party wins? And could we see things like modern monetary theory that basically not just takes from the people, but give money back to the people? And that, of course, has major investment implications for everything. And look, this gentleman just basically retired. Why is that important as well? Because Mario Draghi, a few years ago, said, we will do whatever it takes to prop up the system, right? But now, since we have Brexit, it was, I think, Margaret Thatcher who always said, monetary union without political union is a very flawed concept. Remember, the British always said no, and now the British are leaving as well. But why is this important? Because European banks, and I think we have many representatives of money banks here, right? European banks are really struggling with negative interest rates. And more importantly, it completely distorts what, as an economist, we would call that capital allocation process. That has been broken. And hence the question for everybody, are we becoming like the Japanese? And don't forget, Japan had 20 years of, basically lost decades, if you will, right? And later the rise of China. And look, Germany is the fourth largest economy in the world, and currently it looks like Germany is going into recession. But don't forget, Germany is potentially going into recession with the whole German yield curve already negative. So just imagine this, ladies and gentlemen. Germany is the fourth largest economy in the world, which can now borrow for free. That is also unprecedented. And more importantly, as you can see, Austria is a good example, just to show you this. So Austria is a beautiful country, right? It's a AAA rated country. But if you look at this, so this is a chart of the 100-year Austrian government bond. That, to me, is like the chart for the S&P 500. This chart is, to some extent, the epitome of what is wrong in the global financial market. Because you see, if you look at these charts, this looks like the NASDAQ in 2000. This doesn't look like a government bond, right? And if you think about this, so basically the coupon here was 2.1% in euro, and later on it trades at 70 and 90 basis points. But if you think about it, you made 50% return a year on a government bond that had 2% yield. That is also unprecedented, right? Government bonds are not supposed to look like this. And this is really the issue that, if you think about it, investors globally are now buying bonds for capital appreciation, and many people invest in equities for just dividend yield. So again, that is also upside down. And just to show you how this looks like on a Bloomberg screen, here, so maturity was basically 2.1% coupon, and maturity 2,117. The other more important question is, what does it say about recession risk? Because usually, and this is really the dichotomy in the global financial markets. The stock market is an all-time record high, but global bond markets seem to imply that we potentially could see a recession, that the world is on the verge of a recession, because otherwise, why are people, or the markets rather, why do they bid up long-term government bonds? And this is really the dichotomy, that the bond market is telling us a very different story to the global equity market, which predominantly was led by the US. But here again, Brexit, I think, look, I went to school in the United Kingdom, and I always remember our British friends always had sort of their reservations among that European project for philosophical and emotional reasons, right? But more importantly, I think the real issue now is what is known as legal risk. Because the world has become so complicated, so interlinked, when Britain suddenly is now forced to leave, or will leave, potentially after Boris Johnson basically tried to push the issue to the confrontation, I think legal risk is what we all have to worry about. I worked in a large bank in 2008. Before the crisis, nobody worried about legal risk. What document was signed where and who signed it by whom, and that will come again most probably, especially if Brexit could be the catalyst for this. And of course, the other thing is the trade wars, right? By the way, I personally think, and I lived many years in Hong Kong, I studied in China a little bit, I necessarily don't think it's about trade wars. It's ultimately about what Mike Pence, the Vice President of the United States, said. It's a China containment strategy, right? It's a clash of civilizations. And that is also with regards to how, for instance, economies should be managed. And remember, we spoke about the S&P at all-time record highs. And is it okay that America just offshores everything to China? Everything is made in China, it's cheap, but the average American person is losing out, and all this money goes to corporations? That really is the social issue. That's why this whole US-China trade war issue is multidimensional. And the media often only reports the trade side. Trade is easy. I mean, as everybody said, look, a deal is almost done. 90% is agreed. The problem is the remaining 10%, because that comes down to power structure and how the world should be organized. And Hong Kong is the best example of that, right? I mean, if you think about it, the Chinese economy is also highly leveraged. Some economists have called the Hong Kong market or the Chinese economy Dubai times 1,000. Remember when Abu Dhabi had to bail out Dubai in 2008? Some people now say that China is potentially like the Emirate of Dubai times 1,000, and I think Xi Jinping knows that, right? Xi Jinping, as you might recall, became leader for life. And why is that important? Because, look, I work in Singapore, and Singapore has been a benevolent dictatorship that became one of the most successful economies in the world. But there was a social contract, right? We bring economic growth, please no questions about democracy. In China's case, if the economy would be, and this is what the Trump administration is somehow pushing for, right? If China would have a meaningful slowdown, then China's political leadership might be challenged. And that's exactly the reason why, as you might recall, China has basically started, under Xi Jinping, China has started a total surveillance state. Cameras everywhere. Zhejiang province is one example, but more importantly, it is in order, if you are in the Communist Party of China, in order to potentially manage any potential downturn and avoid social unrest, what the Chinese leadership has decided is to take a total surveillance state approach. On their apps, they have, for example, something known as a total credit score, a social credit score. So how you behave in society, you get plus points and minus points. And that's really what the young people in Hong Kong are demonstrating against, because some people don't necessarily feel that that's the future they want to be in. I don't know how many of you remember George Orwell, 1984? It is exactly that. That is the issue in Hong Kong. And Hong Kong, if you will, I mean, Milton Friedman, Nobel Prize in Economics, he always said, look, if you want to see the free market in action, go to Hong Kong. And this is why Hong Kong is the battleground of the US-China trade war. But don't forget, it's not about trade. It's about the two civilizations clashing. It's the incumbent power and the rising power. And they have very different views on how the world should be structured. So what does it mean in investment opportunities? It means new thinking, new possibilities. Look, I just came back from Vietnam, and I'm European. My dad is Swiss, my mother is German, but I share with you, I'd rather have money in a Vietnamese bank than in Deutsche Bank. That is quite a statement, because Deutsche Bank used to be a global powerhouse. It was a AAA-rated institution, and now potentially it needs to be, at least politely spoken, restructured, if not potentially has to close doors. I mean, but it's, again, as many people say, it's too big to fail, right? So what that means, again, here, increasingly, the opportunities are in the frontier markets. Also because, you see, I think the person who described it best is a gentleman by the name of Terry Gou. Terry Gou is, according to Forbes, the richest person in Taiwan, and he is the largest single employer in the Chinese mainland. Remember, he is the chairman of Foxconn, the Apple supplier, and he said something interesting. He said, look, one world, two systems, at least in technology. And this is where the Huawei issue comes in, that China increasingly and the United States is like Soviet Union and basically America during those years when Gorbachev was in power, whether, for example, the Soviet Union will survive or basically it will be taken over by the Americans. And that really happened in Russia too. And that really is the issue with a lot of these countries. And again, so the Chinese call it the One Road, One Belt initiative, right? That potentially will give major investment opportunities for investors. And again, I would like to share with you, I used to work for a larger international bank. At that time, the bank had the pension fund of Oman as a client. And the pension fund of Oman had many Indian professionals who knew India well. I think those years were 2002, 2003. And again, the Indian professionals knew India well, and they invested in India. And they did so well that the whole Omani pension fund actually paid India bonuses. Apparently, they called it India bonuses because they did so well. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The bank in that case was HSBC, my old employer. In 2002, HSBC did not have a house view on India. So the bank did not officially recommend anybody to invest in India, also because in that sense, in those years, they were still more Western-centric, whatever that means. So your model portfolio should have United Kingdom, in Asia, maybe Australia, but a lot of the Asian countries were not included, right? And this is the shift that I'm now seeing in the world. And this comes back to the question about, for example, valuations and rates. For instance, right? Here, we spoke about fixed income. Look at Uzbekistan. So according to Bloomberg data, 26% of all bonds in the world are now at negative interest rates. I think the number is roughly $17 trillion. And if you think about that, only 5% of all bonds currently have a yield to maturity higher than 5%. While, for example, here, Kazakhstan, the largest bank in Kazakhstan is a bank called Halyk Bank. The dividend yield is listed on the London Stock Exchange. The dividend yield is 8.6% in dollars. The price to earnings ratio is 5.7. So this is what many people would consider a value investment, right? And more importantly, since you often are business owners here, that bank, that Kazakhstan bank, is paying out, the increase in dividend payout is 46.6%, according to Bloomberg data. And it is potentially a beneficiary of the Chinese One Road, One Belt initiative. So those sort of opportunities is something to look at, in my opinion. So Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, India, of course, and Russia, because you see, ultimately, all these things become a currency question. What Mr. Trump has succeeded is that he, to some extent, really started this question rather of the world's reserve currency status, right? If you recall, the Chinese are the largest. The Chinese were the largest foreign exchange owners of dollars, and now, according to some people in Washington, the Chinese are the enemy now. How this is going to play out, we don't know. But increasingly, as a global investor, the role of the dollar potentially, again, as you've seen on the chart as well, is potentially very late stage. So again, large countries, domestic economies like India and even Russia, and don't forget, what is the problem in the world? According to many economists, it's too much debt. For example, Russia as a country, of course, some people argue that Mr. Putin is potentially too strong a leader for some people's liking, but debt to GDP in Russia is 19. Whereas Mr. Trump brought, I mean, this was Hillary Clinton said before Mr. Trump got elected, if Trump gets elected, US debt to GDP potentially will rise significantly. And that actually happened. So again, looking at some of these opportunities as well, I think Vietnam is the country, just very quickly, which is completely now still overlooked and under-researched, but potentially the best investment opportunity in the world, in my opinion. It's a country that is larger than Germany. Yeah. It's a country that is larger than Germany, and it's one country that is potentially a real winner out of the trade war. Just to quickly show you this, ladies and gentlemen. So these are basically the Bloomberg source here. Countries that are basically, China has outflows. As you know, China often was the factory of the world, but look at the number for Vietnam. So for example, India is also benefiting here, India, but the biggest winner out of the US-China trade war is Vietnam. And it's quite ironic, actually. If you remember, the Vietnamese are the only people who really beat the Americans in a war, right? America lost the war. Now China is the enemy, and now the United States has decided that Vietnam as a country is where potentially now in the future will made in Vietnam is okay. But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, as well, Because India became such a successful economy, what is interesting is that a lot of Vietnamese banks now have hired Indian professionals. For example, the Vietnam Prosperity Bank is similar to, I suppose, Bank Muscat here. Their top management and increasingly is from India, because they also realized that they needed to open up the country, become more international, and now all these flows together means that, yes, potentially Vietnam is one country that one should look at. The other thing, just really quickly, increasingly the industries of the future. And with that in mind, please allow me to basically also make one final comment on sustainable impact. A lot of people, especially people who have power and authority, realize it's not just about making money for shareholders, it's hopefully also making a better world. So ESG, environmental, social governance, and impact investing increasingly is a major investment theme that many people increasingly will look at. And also, more importantly, more global capital will have a mandate to make sure that if you invest in a company, it also has to prove that the companies are ESG compliant, that they treat their workers well, and all these things, because that ultimately, hopefully, leads to a better outcome. And please allow me to conclude, and thank you all, with an advert that I saw from Vietnam Airlines. By the way, Vietnam Airlines, just to share with you, just received landing rights in the United States for the first time since the war, since the Vietnam War. So Vietnam Airlines is now flying into 7 US cities. It shows you the Americans increasingly linking the countries, right? But that advert of Vietnam Airlines actually really stuck with me when I saw it just a few days ago. The advert title was, "The world is changing, are you?" The world is changing, are we changing too? And with that in mind, I would like to thank you very much for your time and your kind attention. Shukran jazilan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rayner, for the insightful presentation. After the 2 rich knowledge sessions, it's now time for the celebrations. We are now going to give the Best Performing Companies Awards in 3 main categories as shown on screen. We have used 7 financial parameters for the judging process as shown on screen. We take this opportunity to thank our knowledge partner, Gulf Better Capital Markets, popularly known as GBCM, for doing the exhaustive research and identifying the best performing companies. Before we proceed with the awards presentation, we would like to thank National Life and General Insurance, our insurance partner, Oman Data Park, the technology partner, United Securities and Voltamp, the support partners, BusinessLiveMe.com, Times of Oman, and Ash-Shabiba, our media partners, RMP, our print partner for the event. Today's event is managed by UMS Live, the specialist events and conferences arm of the United Media Services. I now request our guest of honor, His Excellency Engineer Ahmed bin Hassan al-Dhib, to come on stage and present the awards to the winners. We also request Mr. Atolya Sharma, CEO of United Media Services, and Mr. Saeed Masoud al-Mashani, General Manager, Corporate Affairs and Business Development of United Media Services, to accompany him on stage, please. The first set of awards for the evening is in the category of small cap companies. The companies with a market capital between 10 million and 25 million Omani riyals were considered for these awards. Overall, 5 companies will be awarded this evening. And our first winner of the night is Majan University College. We request the representative to come on stage. Congratulations. The next award goes to Dhufar Insurance. We kindly request the photographers to move away, please. All right, thank you. Our next winner is Oman Chlorine. Congratulations. The next award goes to Muscat Finance. Congratulations. The next award in the small cap segment goes to Ta'jir Finance. Marks the end of the awards in the small cap segment. Congratulations to all the winners. Our next set of awards for this evening is in the category of best performing companies in mid-cap. The companies with a market capital between 25 million and 75 million Omani riyals were considered for these awards. And our first winner is As-Sawari Power. May we have the representative of our next winner, Al-Batina Power, on stage, please. Congratulations. It seems this segment is dominated by the power companies. Our next award also goes to another power company, Al-Kamil Power. Congratulations. The winner of our next award in the mid-cap category is Al Ahliya Insurance. Congratulations. The next winner in the mid-cap segment is National Finance. Thank you and congratulations to all the winners for the mid-cap segment. It's now time for عالم الاقتصاد والأعمال Awards for Best Performing Companies in the Large Cap segment. The companies with a market capital of above 75 million Omani riyals were considered for these awards. And the first winner in this category is Sohar International. Congratulations. The next award goes to Ahli Bank. Congratulations. Our next winner is HSBC Bank Oman. Congratulations. The next award goes to Urido. Congratulations. The next winning company is National Life and General Insurance. Thank you and congratulations to all the winners of the awards for the best performing companies in the large cap segment. This brings us to the end of the best performing companies awards. It's time for عالم الاقتصاد والأعمال awards for companies and industry captains for achievements that goes beyond the balance sheets. The first award is Catering Company of the Year. It goes to one of the leading and fastest growing catering organization in Oman. Having established itself as a prominent player in the contract catering and support services business, it serves over 110,000 meals a day at various locations across Oman. The winner of Catering Company of the Year award is Annaba Supplies and Catering Services. Congratulations. Our next award is for Excellence in Global Cloud-Based Services. The winning company is the leader in cloud-based services covering both local and international customers since 2011. It holds a global footprint of customers covering the Gulf, Europe, and the North Atlantic. It offers a complete cloud solutions portfolio covering managed services, cybersecurity services, cloud services, co-location, and professional services. The winner of the Excellence in Global Cloud-Based Services Award is Oman Data Park. Our next award is for Omani-based LASIK and Cataract Center. It goes to a company that has been at the forefront of ophthalmology, setting international standards and providing the people of Oman premium eye care they can trust. It's the first and only eye center in the Gulf to receive international accreditation by the Australian Council on Healthcare Standards. The winner of Omani-based LASIK and Cataract Center Award is Muscat Eye Laser Center. Thank you. Our next award is for Financial Advisory Services Company of the Year. The winning company has been rated as the best research house and best client services for brokerage by Muscat Securities Market. Its asset management has consistent track record in terms of returns. It has the most diversified client base across markets. The winner of the Financial Advisory Services Company of the Year award is United Securities. award is for Excellence in Engineering Consultancy. The award goes to an excellent, great consultancy company providing high-end engineering solutions with offices in the USA, in India, East Africa, also for over 30 years. Some of its recent projects include Royal Opera House, House of Musical Arts, border security, including design of over 400 kilometers roads, and master planning of Suwaiq, Khasab, and Shinas ports. The winner of the Excellence in Engineering Consultancy Award is Design Group Engineering Consultants. Congratulations. The next award is for Industry Leadership in Animal Feed. It goes to a company that is the first animal feed manufacturer in Oman, producing the best quality animal feeds. It manufactures all categories of ruminant and poultry feeds for domestic as well as export markets. The winner of Industry Leadership in Animal Feed is the Far Cattle Feed. Congratulations. The next award is for Remittance and Foreign Exchange Company of the Year. The winning company is part of Finabler, a global platform for payments and foreign exchange solutions. It offers a broad spectrum of financial solutions. Let's have a look at this short video together. Yes, the winner of the Remittance and Foreign Exchange Company for the year is Unimoni. Congratulations. It's now time to present an award to a well-deserving corporate leader. The award is for the Business Transformation Leader of the Year. The winner is an acclaimed senior law expert and has been on the boards of various private sector companies and industry bodies with a distinguished track record. He is the chairman of a leading insurance company, and to his credit, he has turned around the insurance company by taking a number of effective measures, including improving the corporate governance standards, implementation of workflow-based business solutions to improve efficiency, improving customer centricity through focus on customer segmentation and usage of automation, and successfully engineered a financial turnaround through capital restructuring in a challenging economic environment. Before we call him on stage, let's watch together this short video. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the winner of the Business Transformation Leader of the Year, Mr. Majid Al-Touqi, Chairman of the Fire Insurance. Congratulations to all the winners of the awards tonight so far. Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Atolya and Mr. Said, for doing the honors. Would you please take your respective seats? I know you're tired. Ladies and gentlemen, we will resume the presentation of our next set of awards after a short entertainment break. Enjoy. Thank you so much, the talented Bassan and troupe, for the great show. Thank you, guys. We now request His Excellency Sheikh Khalid bin Omar Al Marhoon to come on stage to do the honors, please. We also request Ms. Alpana Roy, Executive Vice President of United Media Services, and Mr. Khalfan Al-Rahbi to accompany His Excellency on stage. Moving on, it's now time to present the next set of awards to the deserving companies and corporate leaders. The first award is for the best CSR campaign. The award goes to one of the most innovative and effective CSR campaigns ever undertaken in Oman's corporate history. The campaign was conceived and launched by a leading bank that operates with the purpose to help people win and support its customers and communities to prosper and grow. Based on the theme Winning Together, the campaign launched during the holy month of Ramadan involved the society at large. Through a smart integrated communication, mainly powered by the digital media support, to offer support for the cause of the less privileged members of the community. People were encouraged to support the campaign by liking the related posts on various social media channels, and the bank promised to make a monetary donation of 100 beza for each like. The campaign generated a tremendous response with 300,000 likes in total. The combined donation money of Winning Together campaign was used for charitable causes, including Iftar Sa'im and supporting the differently abled children, Eid clothing for orphans, fund Umrah for selected people, and also support the visually impaired. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the well-deserving winner of the Best CSR Campaign Award, Winning Together campaign of Sohar International. Congratulations. The next award is for Financing Deal of the Year. The winning company is the world's leading supplier of clear, rigid packaging materials. It recently secured $625 million of banking facilities in one of the biggest private sector financing deals in Oman of the last decade. The company currently contributes approximately 6.5% to Oman's non-oil exports and is committed to creating long-term value for the country that extends beyond diversification and positioning the Sultanate at the forefront of the manufacturing industry. Our winner is Octal. Congratulations. Our next award category is Industry Leadership in Customer Experience. The winning Islamic bank has many firsts to its credit in ensuring that customers can bank at their convenience, ensuring anytime and anywhere they will be provided with service. It's the most followed Islamic bank in Oman on social media. Earlier this year, the winning Islamic bank launched the Bridge user interface system across their branch network, which improves the entire customer experience of opening a new account and reduces the opening time from 20 minutes to just 7 minutes. The winner of the Industry Leadership in Customer Experience is Al-Izz Islamic Bank. Congratulations. The next award is for Excellence in Export Performance. The winning company is a leading power transformers manufacturing company in Oman. It recently received export orders for the design, manufacturing, testing, and supply of 100 power transformers worth $40 million to Kuwait. And the winner is Voltam Power. Award is for Excellence in Business Transformation. The winning company has transformed the business from legacy to startup mindset, carved out 5 business streams, and set up a value creation program. The company has developed and implemented 160 initiatives targeting to create an additional value of 80 million Omani riyals by 2023. The Excellence in Business Transformation Award goes to Oman Aviation Services. Congratulations. Our next award is for Corporate Deal of the Year. The award is for the deal of $1 billion plus sale of Topaz Energy and Marine to DP World by Renaissance Services. This has been one of the most prominent high-value sale deal in the corporate history of Oman. It showcases the strength of Omani private sector company in acquiring an asset in the international market, transforming it completely and exponentially, growing it into an asset that is highly valued in the global market. Renaissance Services Topaz deal will be considered as a showcase deal for many years to come in the private sector in Oman. It gives me great pleasure to invite once again on stage Mr. Samir J. Fancy, the chairman and founder of Renaissance Services, to receive the award. Congratulations, Mr. Samir. The next award is for the most valuable company. When it comes to guessing the most valuable company from the listed companies on Muscat Securities Market, I'm sure you all could do it easily. This bank, with over 1.2 billion Omani riyals market capital, was the most valuable listed company on MSM in 2018. Its achievement is so overpowering that its market cap was more than double of the second most valued company, listed on MSM. Do I still need to say the name? Please put your hands together in welcoming on stage Sheikh Walid Al-Hashar, CEO of Bank Muscat. Congratulations, Sheikh Walid. The next award is for the iconic commercial project of the year. The iconic commercial building is a redefining the commercial office space in the Sultanate. It marries luxury aesthetic with corporate functionality. With architecture inspired by both past and future Oman, this building has set a new benchmark for commercial design, incorporating state-of-the-art features to epitomize the notions of corporate luxury and refinement. The award goes to Amanvest Business Center by Oman Real Estate Investment Services, a group company of Amanvest. Congratulations. We now move to the Personality Awards, the last set of awards for this evening. The first award is for Dynamic Entrepreneur of the Year. It goes to an entrepreneur who is a leading name in the field of distribution of mobile services, smartphones, tablets, and accessories in Oman. His company, Global Font Technology, established in 2016, has grown from strength to strength in partnership with brands including Lenovo, Samsung, Xiaomi, Vivo, Lava, and Nokia. He has launched 15 specialized telecom stores across Oman under the brand name GlobeTech. Before we call him on stage, let's have a look at this short video. I invite on stage Mr. Pradeep Tripathi, Managing Director of Global Font Technology. Congratulations. The next award is for Business Leader of the Year. The winning person has a long and distinguished track record in the consulting business. He is the founding and managing partner of Crow Ghazali Chartered Accountants Muscat, a top 10 audit firm in Oman. Sometime back, Crow Global, the top 10 global accounting network, had bestowed the Pinnacle Award on him for his outstanding contribution to the accounting profession and to the network globally. Please welcome Mr. Davis Kolokaram, Managing Partner of Crown Ghazali, on stage. Congratulations. The next award is for Aviation CEO of the Year. It goes to an aviation industry leader who had led the seamless grand opening of the award-winning Salalah Airport in 2015 and Muscat International Airport and Duqm Airport in 2018. He is the first Omani elected in the impressive key role of Vice Chairman of the Airport Council International. He is successfully and effectively leading Oman airports to be a vital contributor to the nationwide vision of establishing a safe, modern, profitable, and customer-centric aviation sector. Aligned to Oman's Vision 2040, he keeps a strong focus on investing in Omani talents to develop the future leaders of the aviation sector in Oman, achieving a record-breaking Omanization rate of 95% at Oman airports since he became the CEO in 2015. Before we call him on stage, let's take another look at this video. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me on stage Sheikh Ayman bin Ahmed Al Hosni, the CEO of Oman Airports. The next award is for the most outstanding corporate leader. The winning gentleman has more than 26 years of experience in both banking and telecommunication sector, with outstanding exposure to operational, technical, and team leading functionalities, gained from senior positions occupied in both the sectors. He became the CEO of OIFC in 2014. Under his dynamic leadership, OIFC has accomplished many important successes in the last 5 years. Before we call him on stage, let's watch this short video. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, the winner of the most outstanding corporate leader is Mr. Saeed Ahmed Safrar, CEO of Oman Investment and Finance Company. Congratulations. Our next award is for CEO of the Year. It goes to an insurance industry leader who is a qualified chartered and cost accountant with more than 30 years of experience in the Middle East region, having held various senior level positions. He is an inspirational and visionary leader who brought a turnaround in the company's fortunes and scripted one of the finest success stories in the industry and made National Life and General Insurance a leader in the insurance sector in the region and a dominant health insurance leader in Oman. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. S. Venkata Chalam, the CEO of National Life and General Insurance, on stage. Congratulations. This brings us to our final 2 awards of the evening. The recipients are stalwarts in their respective fields and an inspiration for any business leader. The first award is Nation Builder Award. The recipient is the founder of a leading business group with more than 27 companies and subsidiaries across sectors, including real estate development, hospitality, logistics, real estate management, oil and gas, travel and tourism, investment, commercial agencies, furniture, and education. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our honor to present the Nation Builder Award to Sheikh Salim bin Ahmed Al Ghazali, Chairman of the Golden Group Holding. Congratulations once again. The final award for the evening is Lifetime Achievement. It's our great honor to present this coveted award to the gentleman who has a long, illustrious track record across various fields. He started his career as a fighter pilot. He is a retired Air Vice Marshal, having joined the Royal Air Force of Oman in 1978 and was subsequently appointed as the Chief of the Omani Air Force. In 2000, he was awarded Order of Oman by His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Saeed Al Mu'azzam. Upon his appointment as executive chairman, he announced an ambitious growth strategy for Investcorp to become a $50 billion AUM alternative investment firm in the medium term. Under his leadership, the firm has more than doubled its assets under his management, reaching $28.2 billion in 2019. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Military Science from the Royal Air Force UK Staff College in Bracknell, UK, and a Master in Public Administration from the John F. Kennedy School of Government, Harvard University. He is a graduate of the Royal Air Force Military Academy in Cranwell, UK, and the National Defense University in Washington, D.C. He is the author of 3 books titled Arabs Down Under, Pearls from Arabia, and Arabs Unseen. He is currently the chairman of the board of directors at Sohar International. Under his chairmanship, Sohar International has formulated the 5-year strategy. We can go on and on about listing his achievements, as you can't find a better candidate than him for this award. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our great honor to announce the recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award, no one other than Mr. Muhammad Mahfouz Al-Ardi, the chairman of Sohar International. يتفضل ويتكرم بإلقاء كلمة للحضور.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. معالي الشيخ خالد بن عمر المرهون، معالي الشيخ سالم بن مستهير المعشني، سعادة المهندس أحمد الذيب، الأخوات والأخوة الحضور، يسرني أن أقف أمامكم في هذه الليلة ومشاعري تفيض بالتقدير لكم جميعا لحضوركم حفل التكريم هذا الذي يعبر عن رؤية إعلامية متطورة في المجال الاقتصادي، رؤية صاغتها مجلة الاقتصاد والأعمال في سلطنة عمان من أجل تعزيز البنية الاقتصادية وحض الرواد في هذا المجال على مستوى الأفراد والشركات على مزيد من التطلعات نحو المستقبل، بما يتطابق مع توجهات قائد مسيرتنا أعزه الله من أجل بيئة اقتصادية حيوية وغنية، وبما يليق بالسلطنة التي نعمل كلنا من أجلها وأجل كل مواطن فيها. الأخوات والأخوة الحضور، في هذه الليلة وإذا توجهوا بالشكر الجزيل إلى مجلة الاقتصاد والأعمال على منح جائزة الإنجاز هذه، فإنني أشعر بمسؤولية كبيرة جدا من خلال موقعي في رئاسة مجلس إدارة صحار الدولي، أو من خلال عملنا جميعا كشركاء في التنمية الاقتصادية في كل المواقع. فالجائزة تعبر عما هو أكثر من تكريم شخصي لي أو تكريم غيري من الشركات، فهي مسؤولية إخلاقية ومهنية تفرض علينا أن نواصل النجاحات وأن نلتقي هنا العام المقبل وقد احتفلنا حقا بإنجازات جديدة على المستوى الاقتصادي، حين يكون الاقتصاد ليس تعبيرا عن مجرد أرقام مالية، بل تعبيرا عن نهضة شعب وتطويعا لكل الموارد من أجل المستقبل. إنني محظوظ وممتن لكل من ساعدني في هذه الرحلة من أفراد عائلتي ومن الأصدقاء وزملاء العمل وهذه الجائزة لهم جميعا ولكل العمل الجاد والشاق الذي استثمر لخير بلدنا ومجتمعنا والناس أجمع. الأخوات والأخوة الحضور، لقد أثبتت الأيام قدرة الشعب العماني على أن يكون مميزا حقا بفعله ومنجزه قبل الشعارات والعناوين، وليس أدل على ذلك من هذه النهضة التي تشهدها بلادنا وهذا الحضور من المسؤولين الحكوميين ورواد الأعمال ووسائل الإعلام يشهد على أن الشعب العماني كان وسيبقى قادرا على رسم قصة نجاحه الخاصة به، وهي قصة لا تنفصل أيضا عن عالم الاقتصاد داخل السلطنة. وفي هذا العالم الذي تتأثر فيه الاقتصاديات بكل ما يجري فيه. وإذا كانت هناك كلمات لا بد من قولها في هذا اليوم، فهي أنني على ثقة أننا في السلطنة سوف نشهد كل عام نجاحات جديدة على كل الأصعدة، فهذه هي الروح التي غرسها فينا قائدنا المفدى، وسخرت من أجلها كل الموارد، ومن أجل الإنسان أولا وأخيرا. الأخوات والأخوة الحضور، أجدد شكري لكم على حضوركم الكريم، ويسرني أيضا أن أتوجه بالتهنئة إلى كل من نالوا التكريم هذه الليلة من شركات مختلفة، وأعبر أيضا عن بالغ التقدير لمجلة الاقتصاد والأعمال على مبادرتها هذه التي تعبر عن رؤية إعلامية شريكة في صناعة النهضة الاقتصادية، وأحث كل واحد فينا على مزيد من الابتكار والإبداع من أجل أن نعمل سويا كفريق واحد في القطاعين العام والخاص، ومع كل الشركاء والمستثمرين ورجال الأعمال من أجل استشراف المستقبل بما يعنيه ذلك من موائمة المعايير مع التغيرات المتسارعة في هذا العالم، ومن أجل رفاه الإنسان وحياته الكريمة التي يستحقها. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Congratulations once again to all the winners of Alam al-Iqtisad wal-A'mal Awards this evening. We now request His Excellency Engineer Ahmed bin Hassan al-Dib and Mr. Atoya Sharma and Mr. Saeed Masood al-Ma'shani to come on stage, please. We also request all the winners to kindly come on stage for the group picture. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being such a wonderful audience tonight. Alam al-Iqtisad wal-A'mal Awards would not have been this success without the support and cooperation of our partners, National Life and General Insurance, Oman Data Park, United Securities, Voltamb, Gulf Better Capital Markets, GBCM, BusinessLiveMe.com, Times of Oman, Al-Shabiba, and RMP. Today's event is managed by UMS Live, the specialist events and conferences arm of the United Media Services. Please accept my greetings, me, your host for the evening, Dalia, and enjoy your dinner, and we look forward to seeing you at Alam al-Iqtisad wal-A'mal Awards in 2020.